Okay, you two, welcome to What's New with the Flying Phent. This is a new series I'm starting regarding World of Tank news. This is the first episode. I'm thinking about doing this for a while. I tend to discuss World of Tank news, but I do it at the start of one of my new episodes. So then you have to wait 2 or 3 days for it to come out. You don't necessarily know that I'm talking about news at the beginning until you open it. So, I think this is going to be a good way to get some news out. Now, this isn't going to be like a daily thing. It's not going to be something that's done every time there's a new piece of World of Tank news. But I'm going to do this series. I'm going to do a new episode every time I see a piece of news that I think is interesting and that I think other people might want to see. So what's the news that came out today that made me want to do this? Well, let's take a look. Personal missions. When I opened World of Tanks today, when it's January the 15th, it updated with a brand new 9.5 patch. I already had 9.5, I'm pretty sure, but it's a new version of it. And you can see it talks about 9.5 somewhere on this page. 9.5 is up there, and it'll mention 9.5 further on. But there was a thing that said introducing personal missions. So I went and I've been reading about it. Some of the stuff was a little confusing. Some of it was a little detailed. In any case, I thought, even if it makes perfect sense to you, maybe you don't know about it because you haven't opened your World of Tanks, but you're browsing YouTube. Maybe you've been away from World of Tanks, but for whatever reason you're looking at World of Tanks videos. Maybe this will be enough to get you back in. I don't know. In any case, I thought it was interesting news, and I wanted to let everybody know about it. So, introducing personal missions. This is a new type of mission. You always have that mission screen in the top left corner, or the mission button in the top left corner of your World of Tanks client. Well, now inside there, you're going to have personal missions and personal mission campaigns and mission sets and operations and so on and so forth. So we're going to take a second and talk about that and explain how it works. You might notice from this picture with this lovely blonde lady here, you might not have noticed this is also an attractive young lady, and so is this, and so is this. So holy smokes, it's a female tank crew. What's going on? One of the interesting things they're adding with the first campaign for personal missions is female crew. And I'm actually pretty excited about it, not because they're women, although that is pretty cool, but because they have bonus perk, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. But I'm also excited by the idea of having like specific objectives to pursue. I think that's a fantastic idea. It's a way to kind of people who are new, and I mean, my series is called Phent Noobs, even though it's 250 some or 60 some episodes long now, and I still at a lot of times feel like a noob, and it's hard to decide where to go and how to progress and what tree to go down. And I spend a lot of time searching the forums, but maybe a lot of people don't want to do that. And I think this may provide them with another avenue. So I'm really excited about this. I think this is a fantastic idea, and I really congratulate Wargaming for continuing to update the game, first of all, but for putting in fantastic new things like guided stories or missions or whatever you want to call them to help give you some direction. Okay, so let's take a look. They're coming out January 15th, which is today. Today is January 15th. And if you have been away from World of Tanks, you're thinking of taking some time away, well, I'll talk about it later, but I just want to put it out there right away. There is a special reward for people, a select number, but for people who complete some of these missions, some of these personal missions within 30 days. So if you're thinking take a break, maybe put it off for 30 days, but you'll see what that's going to be later on. So they came out today on January 15th, and they're a new way to extend your tank career, they say. You can read the details here. I'm not going to read things to you. People are perfectly capable of reading. But it tells you all you need to start is to pick a mission, review the condition accepted, and then head out to the battlefield. So it's pretty simple to do. Missions are considered completed if their major conditions are met, but can be completed with honors and get you an additional award if you fulfill secondary objectives as well. Keep track as you play, and when you're ready, you can mark the mission as completed and reap the rewards. You can also repeat missions that you reported but didn't get with honors. It also talks about how you're able to swap between missions even if they're incomplete. So you can take a break and try something else. Unlike regular missions, they don't expire. Now, I'm going to put the caveat on here. Who knows, right? 2 years from now, they might change the philosophy of World of Tanks, and perhaps they'll remove regular missions. Who knows, right? So I'm just going to say, just because they don't expire, they're saying they don't expire. Just realize that means as of right now, the current plan is that they're not going to expire. And I'm not saying that they will. Maybe World of Tanks will leave personal missions in forever. But I'm just saying, whenever you see something like this, always realize with an online game, subject to change. So then I talk about some glossaries. There's basically 3 divisions. There's a campaign, which holds a group series of personal missions. They say a set, but I don't think that is accurate, because it is my understanding that a campaign can hold multiple of what they call sets. So a campaign holds a group or a series or whatever you want to call it, right? A plethora of personal missions. It shows you the main reward and it's updated. So when there's a new campaign, you get new personal missions. New campaigns don't replace previous ones and don't need to be finished. You don't need to do them in order type of thing. You can do them whenever you want to. A set is a sequence of personal missions that gives an added reward if it's completed in order. So inside the campaign, which you get a reward for completing the campaign, you will have sets. Each set will have a additional reward if you complete that set in order. And then it talks about they're kind of themed, right? A heavy tank themed set and stuff like that. And then an operation would be a group of sets. So the way I see it, a campaign would have, a few operations and then it would be a set, right? So we're talking like, a typical kind of military type layout, right? You got your squads, your platoons, and your companies, and all that type of stuff. And I don't comment and tell me that that's not what a company is, because I've run into this problem before. Different countries will call things differently, and what one group calls a battalion, another group might not consider a battalion. So just recognize I went in an order from smaller to bigger, even if there may be other ones in between where you're from. In any case, yeah. So operations are groups of sets that give you yet another reward. So you finish. Let's say you have a campaign with 4 operations and 12 sets, 3 sets in each operation. For each set you complete, you'll get a reward. So that'd be 12 rewards. For each operation, you'd get a bonus reward. That'd be 4 more. So we're at 16 rewards. And then for completing the campaign, you get another one. So you're already at 17 rewards in my simple example I gave you. So that kind of lets you know they're really gearing this to kind of give stuff out, which is good, I think, because they talk about goals. And like I say, that's really hard in a game like this until you're like, oh, I want to get X tank, which is great when you know about X tank. But when you're new, you don't have that. So campaign 1 is the first one that's out. And the reward for campaign 1 is female crew. And I'm excited about this. And you'll see why in a moment. So if you complete the sets in the first campaign, you get female crew members. Specifically, the last mission in each set will give you 1 female crew member. So completing the entire campaign can net you 20 crew members. That tells me there will be 20 sets in campaign 1. I haven't seen campaign 1, so I wanted to look, but I couldn't, and you'll see why in a moment. Female crew members I think are fantastic because they come with their own bunk. They start off with 100% training. They start off with an FXP to get their first perk to 100%. So as soon as you get a new crew, they're at 100%, and they have 1 perk at 100%. They also have a Sisterhood of Steel perk, which is identical to Brotherhood of Arms, but it's automatically assigned, so it won't be displayed in the perk list. That means you get 100% training, an FXP to get 1 perk to 100%, plus another perk that is already assigned and at 100%. It also means it requires no extra XP, continuously active, and can't be reset. It only is effective if the entire crew is female, though, just like Brothers in Arms and male crews. So the benefits should be clear. They absolutely are. World of Gaming, I'm with you. Now, I talked about special bonuses. You can see from January 15th to February 15th, for 1 month, the first 5 players who unlock the Stug 4 via personal missions and provide proof in the designated form thread, which you can find in the mission list, as you can see right here, will get to choose from available premium tanks, along with 6 months of premium account time. So that's pretty fantastic. If you're not one of the first 5, you still have a chance of winning. 10 additional winners are going to be picked. So even if 5 people have already posted in that thread, go ahead and put your proof that you've unlocked it via the personal missions up here as well. And then they just go on to talk about it's available in the latest revision of 9.5. So make sure you have 9.5, start doing your personal missions, and move into the thread. So let's take a second now and look at personal missions, shall we? Just fire up my client. Actually, let me do one more quick thing here. I'm just going to move. I got a couple of windows overlapping here. Let me unoverlap them. There we go. All right. So I opened the game. I clicked on this missions and it opened in behind. I was hoping to see it. But basically, when you open the game for the first time, you're going to see this. It's going to detail personal missions, talk about unique crew. You know, so this is pretty cool. Again, it kind of repeats the stuff. Rare vehicles for completing each challenge: Stug 4, T28 concept, T55A, NVA, DDR, and an Object 260. Loads of additional rewards, including credits, premium consumables, and more. Check out personal missions today. Unique crew, women at war, and then it talks about the things we talked about. So there we go. I'll get rid of that. Under missions, you can see there's campaigns. It talks about rewards. You have choices, so you can move in and out. No time limits, and it's good for everybody. I'll say affirmative, and this is why I couldn't see these, right? I would have had to have accepted that before, and you guys wouldn't have seen it. So I wanted to make sure that it was obvious. Now, campaign 1, as we can see, has 1, 2, 3, 4 operations. I'm assuming these are operations. It is Operation Stug 4, Operation T28 Heavy Tank Concept, Operation T55 NVA DDR, and Operation Object 260. Now, why is this locked? Because you need to go through in order, and it did mention that, right? If you recall, it did say you wouldn't have to do campaigns in order, but it did say you had to do sets in order to get the reward, and I guess they're forcing you to do them in order. And you can see this one right here has 20 commendations, reward vehicle. I don't really know how that works, but if we take a look, set for light tanks. So here we go. So they talked about sets, right? So here we go. There are sets. And there it is showing you the reward. So you have to complete all of the sets. So there's a fair amount of content in this, and we're only looking at the first one. And the way it would work is you would thing it, pick the thing, and then hit start. So how does this work? Win the battle, be among the top 10 players by experience, survive the battle, available completion on vehicles of tier 4 or higher, and at lower tiers, your light tank can easily neutralize every type of vehicle. I'm going to assume you have to be in a light tank to do this. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Don't you think? It doesn't say that. It didn't say anywhere that this has to be a light tank. But there you go. You'd hit start. You'd accept the mission. I'll do that. And does it show up somewhere now under here? Ooh, there's a new mission that'll be available. Interesting. Doesn't even say what it is. So it doesn't show up in here. You still have to go under campaign to see what it is. But it's very interesting to me. It's set for light tanks. Doesn't say anything about light tanks. Doesn't say you have to be in a light tank anywhere. Although it would make sense. It says set for light tanks. It would make sense you have to be in a light tank and be in the top 10 players on your team. So there you go. I wasn't really going to go through everything, right? I did say this is just going to be kind of an overview, but there you go. That gives you an idea of how the personal missions work. You can see how you get into them in here. You can go back out, take a look, and you can have looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 missions open at once, potentially more. I don't know. And then there's campaign rewards, and it shows you what the campaign rewards. You get a female crew member for completing missions in the set. Rewards for sets of each vehicle type. Okay, you can check the details, and you can see commendations of the 15th mission. Okay, so cool. So there you go, folks. That's personal missions for you. I hope that gives you a good overview. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comment section below. I would also look forward to any comments on what people think about me doing a World of Tanks news series for news that I find interesting. If you have any comments on that, you think it's a stupid idea, think it's a great idea, whatever, again, put them in the comments below, please. And lastly, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content from me. For now, though, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.